Hey, welcome to the pod. Today we're going to be talking about why hobbies are everything, and we're going to go into the good, the bad.
And the ugly.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy the pod.
Bye.
Welcome to Black Girl Shit. My name is Cindy.
And I'm Chanel.
And we're doing this podcast thing.
Yes.
Are you excited, Chanel?
I'm pretty excited. As a podcast veteran,
Mm-hmm.
I think I have the right skills for this job, and I am ready to give my all to this podcast.
Okay. Well, as a podcast novice, I have all the excitement to put into this podcast. And I think that qualifies me for a job because we know, just based on our own research, that literally anybody can start a podcast. Anybody. And to be fair, I think we have more credentials than those people. But I've been wanting to do this thing for a long time. I think I've been talking about making a podcast by myself for about 2 years. And I sat down with Chanel like the other day and she was just like, why don't we do it? Isn't that right?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you want to talk about, Chanel? The world is our oyster, so whatever.
Yeah, let's see.
Topic.
So on the agenda that we wrote specifically for this episode, it says that hobbies are everything.
Really breaking the fourth wall there.
Woo!
Okay, so hobbies are everything. Let's see. I don't really have any hobbies, so I can't really say much. I'm a new recent adult, I'd like to say, just because, I don't know, I just graduated from school, as you know, and that has been a grueling, many, many years. So I'm kind of coming into this new.
I always say that I'm a 9-year-old.
A 9-year-old?
Adult.
What do you mean by a 9-year-old?
And you didn't listen.
Oh.
A 9-year-old adult. An adult with 9 years of experience.
See, the reason why I didn't hear it is because you paused. You paused for a little bit.
I did pause for dramatic effect.
Okay, and again, I really wanted to fill in that space and say dramatic effect, but I guess I talk a little bit faster. So, you're a 9-year-old adult. Does that make me 0?
Yeah. What? Why would you be 0?
Well, what do you mean by you're a person with 9 years of adult experience? Does that mean when you started 18? Would you consider 18 as when you were an adult?
I mean, technically by the state.
Okay.
Yes.
See, I don't know if I would consider that for me, only because at 18, well, I guess, where was I at 18? 18, I started college. I was in the midst of college, but I was still going home to my parents every single holiday. They were still paying for my stuff. So I would have to say that I am a good 5-year-old, just because I think when I started grad school was when I was officially an adult, because I started getting my own salary. My parents started paying for me, lived in my own place, was paying for my own car, had to pay for all my bills. So I'm gonna say that I'm 5.
Okay, let me revise my answer then. I'm a 0-year-old.
What?
0 years old. Phone bill paid.
Okay.
Car insurance paid. Rent free.
Okay.
So I am
we're
baby.
Okay, so the whole point is we're children, but I'm a little bit older than Chanel.
But in reality, I'm the oldest.
Yeah, in reality, you got a good 6 months on me, but in terms of adulthood, I got a good 5 on you. 5 years, not months.
Period.
But anyway, regardless of all that point, I still feel as though, we're both young adults, and I still feel like I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know about you, but it's just difficult, just trying to balance now having a 9 to 5, and then just also finding time to do stuff for me, because again, I think a good 20 some years of my life has been okay, you go and do work, which is school, and then you come home and do more work, which is school, then you go to sleep, and then you wake up and you rinse and repeat. And now I have 9 to 5, my job, and then I come home and then I have nothing. I don't really have one of those jobs where I'm on call. It's once my laptop is closed, I'm done. So I'm over here just like, what do you do with this time? What do you like? What do people do with their free time? And you've told this to me before, but hobbies, I guess, is a thing that people claim are the go-to thing.
Yeah, that's because hobbies are literally any activity you do in your free time. So for you to not have a hobby is like crazy. You have to really try to not have a hobby or be so busy to the point where you have no free time, which is a reality in our society, unfortunately.
It is unfortunate.
But yeah, it's any activity in your free time. So for me, I also did a lot of schooling as well. I am traumatized quite thoroughly from it. And so after I quit my PhD program, hallelujah! Thank you. I was like, okay, we need to start living life. Because school for me, especially because I was getting math degrees, girl, oh my God, these math professors are evil. You cannot.
Math is just hard.
It's hard. The professors are evil. Like, it's just a mess. So for me, I was like, I need to start living life. And so I moved back from Texas where my PhD program was. And now I'm in California again. Hallelujah. And so for out here, I actually decided to start a new hobby. And I kind of like fell into it. You know what I'm saying, girl?
You fell into it?
I tripped and fell into it.
Okay. I
saw an ad for, what was it? Like the Bridgerton experience.
Right.
Did you hear about this when it came out, Cindy?
Was it like near the end of COVID? Like, I know like Bridgerton was really big and like COVID was tailing off, even though COVID still exists.
Yeah.
But like the whole like, we should be at home was tailing off, and it was like a huge ball. Wasn't it like a ball? Okay. Yeah.
A huge ball, and it was based on Bridgerton, the show. And people I saw on like TikTok or something, people were like dressing up and going to it. And I asked my friend, Maddie, also a podcast veteran. I told her, hey, let's go to this event. I've never seen Bridgerton. You've never seen Bridgerton. Let's go, baby. Let's go. And then my other friend Megan tagged in, and we were like, we've all never seen Bridgerton. Let's go. And so we decided to make our own dresses, historically accurate dresses, and then make the undergarments as well. So we made 3 corsets, 3 petticoats. I think that's what they're called. Or whatever, the underskirts. 3 dresses. And then we also made 3 like overlay skirts. We looked so good. We looked like little princesses. We looked like all grown up version of the Powerpuff Girls. That's what we looked like. Period. So that's how I got into sewing, because once we did that, me and Maddie got addicted to it.
Wait, so you made all of that from scratch? Is what you're saying. So you sat down with your like sewing kit or sewing machine and just made all historically accurate pieces just for fun, just for giggles.
So much work. And to add on top of the craziness, we did all of this in like a week or 2.
A week?
Which is insane.
Yeah. Like, I can't even like imagine making my own clothes right now with the fabric and sizing and cutting and sewing. But you made 3 outfits, historically accurate outfits with multiple pieces in a week to a week and a half.
And let me tell you, Cindy, we had to drive from San Diego to LA to go to the ball because we were at Maddie's
how long is that
apartment.
drive? Isn't that like 6 hours?
No, it's not 6 hours. It's like 3-4 hours.
Oh, okay. But that's still a long time.
That's still a lot. There's still a lot of traffic and everything. But I'm telling you, an hour before the ball, we were still sewing, girl. We were still sewing. And then we were all about to have panic attacks. I swear to God. Megan was getting frustrated. Maddie was giving me that look that she only gives when she's like about to lose it. And I was like, everybody, it's going to be okay. we are going to finish this. We are going to make it on time, and we're going to be fine.
Not this all or nothing. What do you mean make it on time, Chanel? You got an hour before it starts, and you're 3 to 4 hours away.
Oh, well, an hour before we were about to leave.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I was like, the math is not mathing.
We made it. We teleported. But yeah, so that was a lot, but that's what got me my, most coveted hobby, which is sewing. And, it really has brought a lot to my life. And I think, Cinti, you need a hobby.
I agree with you. First I want to say it sounds like you might be more addicted to adrenaline from the store than maybe sewing, but but I'm gonna give it to you because I know you've kept up with it. Because you made me one of like the nicest things that I own, and I've gotten so many compliments on it. So you stayed consistent. But I agree. I do need a hobby, and I've been trying, but it's hard. Like one of the things that I don't really have that you need for hobbies is money. Like I have money, okay? Like in comparison to where I'm coming from, I have money. But starting a new hobby is expensive because you need to get all those pieces. Like I've attempted, I wanted to start crocheting. I used to knit when I was younger. And like the best that I did was I made like a scarf, many scarves. I've made many scarves, but I enjoy knitting. But I thought, I should start crocheting. Like I've been seeing crocheting much more on social media and it looks to be a lot of fun. And I just assumed since I don't have any of my knitting stuff that starting with crocheting might be cheaper. Because in my mind, I was like, oh, knitting, you need 2 needles, but crocheting, you need 1 hook. It's not that expensive. But lo and behold, you need a specific hook for a specific type of yarn and a specific type of yarn and a specific type of hook for a specific type of pattern. And most of the time, your yarn, your hook, and your pattern, they don't match. And so when I actually sat down, I didn't do the research, which I know I probably should have done, but I bought a hook. Didn't match my yarn, bought new yarn, and then lo and behold, my pattern doesn't match. So at this point, I spent close to, $50, and I'm not even able to start a piece. So I'm already turned off. And that kind of brings me to my consistency. Like, I am very bad at staying consistent to things. Like, I don't know if it's a lack of motivation, a lack of drive, or what, but like, this $50 thing was a big deterrent for me, and now I haven't touched any of my crochet stuff. I'm pretty sure you touched more of my crochet stuff than I've touched my crochet stuff. So
yeah, next time I'm just gonna make something.
I mean, you should. I have all the pieces. I spent the money. It might as well get used. But that's the issue for me. It's just kind of hunkering down. I don't know if it's necessarily an issue of maybe I don't like crocheting as much as I thought I would like crocheting, or if it really is an issue of money and consistency. But I will say that spending all that money has deterred me. And I don't know, maybe I'm looking for that adrenaline that you had. Like you in that situation with the Bridgerton ball and sewing all this clothing, it's like that crunch time and the set expectation and then the ability to do all of that, I think is what I want. I don't know if I need to put myself against the clock and say like, oh, I'm going to make something for New York Fashion Week, which never going to happen. But you know what I mean? Like maybe if I gave myself a project, it would force me to, but I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I understand I need a hobby. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I find with sewing, the adrenaline rush is what gets me through sewing, because sewing takes such a freaking long time, and it's difficult, and it's technical, and like you have to spend just too much brain power, too much time, too much money on all this crap. And so the adrenaline rush of like, okay, I started a piece and I'm going through these steps and I'm almost to the finish line. I'm going to be able to wear it. I'm going to wear it. It's going to be on my body. I'm ready. Like that. There's nothing like it, girl. It's my drug. And so I think that's what gets me through sewing. But also I go through periods with sewing where I'm like, you couldn't pay me to touch some fabric right now. That's the mode that I'm in right now. I have a project on my sewing table that is cut out fully. And I look at him and he looks at me, and I look at him, and he looks at me, because I'm not touching you. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Because I'm just not in the mood right now. So it definitely goes both ways with trying to find motivation, find time, and all that crap to actually commit to your hobbies.
So when you're in this type of lull, do you just like, I mean, do you have other hobbies, or do you just like kind of sit and do nothing? Like, what do you jump to when you're not really sewing?
Yeah, I definitely have other hobbies that I pursue. I would say out of all my hobbies, sewing is the most like consuming
Okay.
hobby.
Well, that makes sense.
Because yeah, it's like project based
Mhm.
each time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My other hobbies, the main ones are like reading and then piano. And so for those, that's not really like, sometimes it can be project based depending, but reading, you pick up a book, you either read it or you don't. And then you move on to the next book. It's not like something that's like really, really in progress, and you have to do steps and different tasks. Piano, it's practice, practice, practice. Golly, you gotta practice so much. And then you might learn like a song, and that's kind of like project like, but nonetheless. And so yeah, when I'm not sewing, I normally turn to other things. Sometimes it's productive hobbies, because I feel like there's productive hobbies and then there's not productive hobbies. Technically, scrolling on TikTok is a hobby.
Wait, seriously?
But yeah, it's any activity that you do in your free time that brings you
Oh.
pleasure or whatever. Like you do for fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you like scrolling on TikTok, that's your hobby. But that's not really a hobby that's like conducive for like creativity, which I
Yeah.
think is important to me, and like brain power, like, you know, using your brain in a way that's different than what you were doing at work
Yeah.
or on social media. That's
Mhm.
kind of like you just consume or like do stuff that you have to do, you know?
So I guess then it would technically be false for me to say that I don't have a hobby. I guess I don't really have like a productive hobby. Is because I scroll TikTok.
Yeah.
I sleep.
Yep.
I play video games. Which I would say is like an up and coming hobby. It's something that I've been wanting to do and I wasn't really allowed to do growing up. But now I'm able to put some more time into it, so maybe it's becoming something. But I guess the point that that you're saying about like the creative aspect, I think that's something that I've noticed about your hobbies. It's like with piano and with sewing, like you're doing something creative and it's a creative outlet. And I think that's what I want, because I am very STEM focused. All of my degrees are in STEM. My job is in STEM, but I do feel like I'm artistically inclined. I have a love for music. I listen to it all the time. Even though I can't sing, I like to sing in my car. So it would be, and I like to dance. Chanel, you and I, we dance. So it's just one of those things. We be snapping. I don't know. You be convincing me that I can actually dance. In my head, I feel as though I'm flopping around, but you hype me up. So I don't know. Maybe I can do a little something, something. But, I think that's kind of what I want. Is I want a more, creative hobby. And I also want something that is mine, that I can be like, that I can work on and be proud of. Personally, I don't think I'm ever going to be a singer. I don't want to put that time into singing. And then dancing for me is more of a community type hobby. So I haven't really danced since the last time you came and visited. Like, I think I tried to do the On My Mama choreo maybe 1 or 2 times and then got frustrated because I couldn't get the fly the plane part. But I want something that is mine, which is why I'm like trying to hold on to crocheting and seeing if that could be it. Or I can go back to knitting, because I already know how to do that, and I can just get the pieces. I don't know. Maybe it's more than just, my consistency and money. Maybe I just really haven't found my thing yet.
That could be it. Let me
Yeah.
ask you a question.
Okay, what's up?
So, when you were a child,
Yeah.
baby Cindy,
Mm-hmm.
what did you like to do?
Eat.
Do you remember?
I like to eat.
Eat. Okay.
So I'm trying to think what else did I do. It's so crazy, because I always see on shows or stuff where people are talking about things in the past, and they go, "I think I was 18." I'm like, how do you forget that? Because I'm closer to 18 than some of these people are. But you ask me what I did as a child, I really don't remember. Like, I remember that I used to play basketball. I played from like 5th grade to about 7th grade, or maybe even like a longer span of time, but I'm not athletically inclined anymore, so that's not my thing. I used to love to read, but I believe education kind of beat that out of me.
Oh.
So I'm assuming knitting. Like that's the only other thing that I can think of was something that I did actively as a child. It was knitting, but I tried to pick up crocheting and it didn't work.
When you're on TikTok, do you follow anybody or like see videos of someone doing a hobby that you're like, I want to do that, but that's so random?
See, my TikTok algorithm is not set up to that type of hobbies. Right now, my TikTok is set up to gossip. All I get is gossip. I realize that I get gossip. I get the Reddit recaps or the am I the asshole type things off of Reddit.
Those things are good.
They're fun, but no, I don't really get any sort of hobbies. I haven't really looked up anything. My TikTok does not show any sort of hobby, and then my Instagram, I just came off of the Beyonce concert, so my Instagram is all like Beyonce tour videos because everybody is mourning the fact that the Renaissance tour is over. So
it's over.
It's over. So no. This is a journey that I'm on. I'm trying to give myself grace because I think now I'm hitting. Has it been 6 months since I graduated? So yeah, I've been hitting 6 months, and a couple of those months was like packing up and moving, selling my place, starting my job, figuring out how to budget the money that I have with the prices, because I went from a place that wasn't that expensive to a place that's very expensive. So, balancing both those things has been a whatever. And then also just trying to find that core group of people that I want to be around. I think I've just been trying to do a lot at once. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of grace. I don't know. But that's my current status.
I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Normally when I feel like I want to do too many hobbies because like I'm already doing sewing, reading, piano, right? I want to start doing scrapbooking, which I kind of started, but I want to buy some more stuff so that I can make it a little bit more designed, you know what I'm saying? And of course I bought the all the stuff. You know what I mean? I bought like these photo printers and stuff, and I'm like, dang, girl, you spent all this money. So now I have to do scrapbooking. But scrapbooking's a hobby I want to do. I want to start playing the guitar again because I learned that as
you used to play the guitar?
Yeah. I used to play the guitar. I taught myself.
You are very creative, Chanel. That's something that I've learned about you, and I've noticed you have a creative bones in your body because you can sing, you play the guitar, you can sew, you can paint. Yeah, you're learning the piano.
I just be vibing. Another hobby, which I'm sitting in front of right now, I bought a typewriter.
Ooh,
this thing,
like a legit typewriter.
A legit typewriter. It's actually an electric typewriter.
Oh.
Wow. I'm fancy, so I plug it into the wall, and it's not so hard to, like, type on.
Oh, okay.
So I got this because I want to write. I have a couple books in my mind that I want to work on.
So you're going to type these books out on a typewriter?
Yes, I will.
So wait, sorry. I know that this is kind of diverting from, like, your stuff, but, like, what is the benefit of kind of using a typewriter over just, like, a computer? Are you trying to do like more for your books? Is it a certain era that you're trying to be in and you think the typewriter will help emulate that, or
no? But when I'm having interviews in the future and they ask me why, that's what I'm going to say. No, the reason why I want to use a typewriter to write my books on is because on laptops, one, my eyes hurt because I spend all day on a computer already. Mm-hmm. And then number two, I don't want to get on a computer after being on a computer for all day. That's what I mean? Yeah. Like I'm the less I can touch a computer, the happier I'll be. Mm-hmm. So that's why I got the typewriter so I can manually write it. It's fun to type on because I'm like, I'm old. But it's definitely old fashioned. I have to manually move the thing and if you type the wrong thing, you type the wrong thing.
Yeah.
It's on there. So
Mhm.
I have to be mindful. But yeah, so that was writing, another hobby. I have even more that I'm getting into. I want to learn languages. I want to travel.
Oh wait, what language?
There's definitely more.
What languages?
You see, right now on my list, I would like to learn Spanish,
Mhm.
French, and then Japanese.
Ooh.
Those three I would like to learn. But I'm like, dang, to learn, I either have to be really freaking dedicated
Mhm.
or I need to get a tutor.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, girl, do I have the time to dedicate to that? And so, yeah, there's definitely even more hobbies that I want to get into. But like, just that alone is already crazy.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
I will say, now that you mentioned traveling, I do want to travel. And I think one of the things that I will kind of combine is when I did travel a little bit in high school, college, I would always take a cooking class at any place that I would travel to. And I say that like I'm world traveled. I've been to South Korea and I've been to Greece. And in both occasions, I took a cooking class. And so that gave me the opportunity to kind of combine what I liked, which was eating, with something that I enjoyed at the time, which was traveling. So I might follow you on your hobby of travel. Maybe, you know, put a couple of places on the list, like, I don't know, Japan.
You know we're already planning this, okay, girl? We got Canada next year.
We do.
Period.
We do.
We got Europe the year after, period.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got Japan.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just excited.
Maybe a little Asia trip. We'll see.
I'm just excited because I've been wanting to go to Japan forever.
Mm-hmm.
Forever. I grew up as one of those anime kids, and why are you laughing?
Were you running like Naruto?
I was not. I'm so thankful I did not do that. I did not do that, but Naruto was indeed my first anime. My brothers did definitely run like Naruto, and I think they kind of showed me that it was uncool. So thank you to my brothers. If you are out there, if you are listening, I thank you so much for being the weebs that you were, because then I didn't have to be. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Maybe that could be a hobby of mine. I don't know. Chanel, give me some more inspiration. Like, you be throwing out good ones. What other hobbies do you have, or what hobbies do you think I could be good at? We've been friends for a while, so I feel as though you know some of my strengths and sometimes my likes. I've been forgetting the things that I like, so it's bad. I have to ask my friends, what do I like? What do you think are some things that I should give a shot, or at least put more time into?
That's definitely real. So let me see. Let me look. I got my 5-year plan, and I have a hobby section on here.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, all the hobbies that I want to pursue in the next 5 years, I have sewing, cooking, dance, writing, art, music, learning languages, travel, and then maybe some content creation like we're doing right now. This is a hobby?
That's
oh my
crazy.
God. So that's some of the ones that I want to pursue. But for you, Cindy, I think definitely you mentioned the cooking class more than once.
That's fair.
So that might be a good one. But you also said that you wanted, I think you said before that you wanted like individual hobbies as well.
Yeah, I think I want hobbies that I can call my own. I find that it's not a terrible thing, but I find that I only really have hobbies when I have people around. So it's like, if I'm by myself, I'm in my house, but then I go outside only when it's like, oh, hey, Cindy, let's go do this. Or when I have a friend in town and they're like, I want to go try this. I want to go do that. So, yeah.
So something that you can maintain when you're alone and chilling with your cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you ever the artistic type?
No, I always wanted to be. The best that I got was I was in marching band. Yeah, I played the clarinet for 9 years.
Yeah.
And then I stopped when I thought that's actually a story for another time, but I stopped right before the marching band from my college went to the Super Bowl. So that's kind of
good.
disappointing. I gave it up. I was like, no cool person does marching band in college, and then I was a loser because crazy enough, I'm telling the story anyway. Some of the people from that marching band got asked to be a part of Katy Perry's halftime show, so they didn't have enough people to kind of be the audience, so some of them stormed the halftime show, and this was the infamous Left Shark
yes
halftime show. So I could have been there. I could have been a part of that crowd, and I could have seen Left Shark. Yeah, I could have been a part of the meme before it was a meme. But I just gave up. I feel as though if I could turn back time, I'd tell myself, just give it one more year. Just one more. One more year.
Yes, ma'am. Well, since you were in marching band, what did you play again?
I played the clarinet.
Oh, yeah. So you ever think of picking up a different instrument or that instrument ever again?
I honestly have thought about picking it. I feel like the saxophone is a cooler instrument in my personal opinion. I love the clarinet, but I found a lot more versatility in the saxophone, like mainly because I actually did like jazz music growing up, and clarinets could be in jazz, but I think you had more like bass clarinets or maybe even oboes, and I don't know. I'm not as musically inclined as I was back in college, or not even college, back in high school. But a clarinet, at least in my high school, wasn't a part of the marching band. But the saxophone was like the central, and saxophones typically carry the melody. So it just, to me, what you typically heard was the saxophone. So I thought about it. I've been going back and forth, but again, it's one of those things where I need a teacher. It's not something that I can really be self-taught. And even back in high school, buying an instrument was so expensive. Like, I remember kids would rent them. So I don't even know what it'd be like to try to get a saxophone nowadays.
You know my piano costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
For a basic piano. So much money. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, instruments are so expensive. Like, even a guitar, because I'm like, if I get into guitar again, I might want to update my guitar. My last guitar was like $300. That's not a good guitar. That's
$300
like
is not a good guitar?
That's not a good guitar.
That's
I was
crazy.
watching some video and they were like, oh yeah, if you're just getting like if you're, like you actually play guitar, you should start with like $500 as like the base for
$500
guitar.
For the bass.
Woo! And I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, so that would be nice in a perfect world where you had time for lessons and money for lessons and money for the instrument and all that crap.
Yeah.
Well, then let me think. Because you said crocheting as a potential option. But are you like actually down for that? Or are you just saying that because you invested money?
I was actually down for it because I liked knitting. I just thought that in my mind, I equated knitting for being young because I did it when I was so young. So in my mind, I was like, oh, okay, crocheting is the easy next step. Like, this is the adult move. Like, I'm going to crochet. And again, like I mentioned, I've been seeing it a lot on social media. So it seems like you can create really cute stuffed animals with crocheting. And you can make, like, I was watching on TikTok again because of the Beyonce era. I watched someone make a cardigan that was of the Renaissance album cover, and the same person also did the SZA Control album cover on their cardigan. Wow. I was like, that's really, really cool. Like, that's where I want to be able to make my own clothes. Like, I wear a lot of cardigans, so it just seemed like to me, because social media was showing me people were being so creative with crocheting, that I should be able to learn how to do that and make pieces that I want with crocheting. Yeah. So that's how I kind of got on it. But again, I just got deterred when I spent all this money and I can't use any of it to make anything.
Yeah. And the thing that kind of sucks about starting a new hobby is that you're typically not good at that hobby.
Yeah.
And so, like, whatever you make first, like, you're either gonna, there's two ways you can go about it. You can go, I'm gonna start at basics and then, step up until you get to what you actually want to make. Or you just dive in and you make the things that you want to make, but it's probably going to be lower quality, most likely because you're not good at the hobby yet. And so I've done both of these. So for sewing, I dove in. Well,
Right
crazy.
into the deep end.
And the things that I made, they were very good for not sewing like that before, but they were still low quality. I made mistakes on everything. It looked fine for pictures. I'll tell you what, we look good. But if I brought it to an actual seamstress or anything, they'd be like, yeah, you did this wrong, you did that wrong, you didn't finish these edges, you didn't do this. If I looked at it again, I would say all of those things. And then with piano, it's so hard. Oh my God, it hurts me. And so I had to start at basics. And I have a tutor and the whole nine. Sewing, I just winged it. But like for piano, I was like, I'm not going to make it if I wing it. I definitely needed a instructor for this. And so I have to start at the beginning. And so that's like playing a bunch of random pieces that I don't know, that I'm not really interested in like learning how to play. And it's kind of hard because I'm like, I have to practice every day for like 40 minutes. And I just had a lesson today, and to make more progress, she's like, okay, you see this first phrase, which is like maybe a line in the music. You have to play this over and over and over again until you got it, over and over and over. And so I'm like, oh, this is going to be a hassle, but I have to do this in order for me to get good. You know what I'm saying? And so there's pros and cons both ways, because I bought, how much fabric? $200+ of fabric to make all those dresses and stuff, right? I'm never wearing those dresses again. You know what I'm saying? Versus,
but they're good memories.
Good memories. Versus, a piano where I have to like wait a long time before I'm going to be able to do what I actually want to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think based off what you're saying, I should just give it another shot. Like, I think I do want to crochet.
Yeah.
It is something that I keep bringing up and keep talking about. And the other hobbies, like, once we're able to start traveling, and since we'll be traveling together, one of the things that I want to do is take cooking classes. So that'll be something that I can incorporate with time. But I think for me, I need to pick one thing and I need to stick to it before doing 50 bajillion things. So let me give crocheting another shot. And this time, I'm going to just research it. I tried to do the whole jumping in thing, and it ended up with me dropping it. So maybe I should sit down and pick a pattern first, and then see, okay, how much yarn does this pattern need? What hooks does this need? And maybe I can see if the hooks or the yarn that I already have work for said pattern, and then that way it's not too much money. Because it would be cool. It would be really cool if I did end up with a nice cardigan, and I could go around and be like, yeah, I made this. Like, this is my thing. You can't find it anywhere. I think that's the coolest thing about what you made me, is the fact that people have asked me, oh my gosh, where'd you get that? And I'm like, oh, my friend Chanel made it.
It's an original.
It's one of a
Chanel.
kind.
Thank you. Designer.
It's a Chanel. It's a Chanel. I'm just saying this. It's a Chanel.
But
and they're like, oh my God, how much did you pay for it? It's like, oh, I know Chanel personally.
Yeah, I know the designer. Yeah, the funny thing
I know the
is,
designer
you
personally.
can call your piece couture, because
what do you mean?
You can call it couture. Have you heard that word before? Couture.
I've heard it before, but I don't think I fully understand what it means.
So I'm looking it up to make sure I'm saying the right thing, because I be lying. So, couture is a French word that means sewing or dressmaking, but it also refers to the high-end fashion industry that creates custom-made garments. That is a custom-made garment for you. It is a couture piece. So the next time you're out and about, you can say, I'm wearing couture.
That's actually really cool. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Times.
That's something to work towards, to be honest.
And then for
say, oh, it's couture.
Yeah, it's couture. Yeah, Chanel. Have you heard of her? But
the thing is, when I'd bring you up back in Houston, people would be like, oh yeah, we love Chanel. But here they have no idea who you are. So
they're like, who? The designer?
I'm gonna do that now. It's Chanel. What? what? How much did it cost? Oh, it was $3.99. I know the designer personally. And just walk away.
But for what do you think you're gonna make first for crocheting?
So I think what I should make first is the granny squares. It's
Okay.
something that I've seen all over the place, but you can sew different granny squares together to make a cardigan.
Yep.
Honestly, hear me out. Granny square hoodie.
Oh.
So a hoodie made of granny squares. So what I do is I'm going to try to see, I don't know if that's too extra, but
cool,
the granny squares themselves, it would be really cool. I think it'd be really cool. The granny squares themselves, I think, is a simple starter pattern where it's like, and I think I can just dictate what size I want them. So if I mess up, it shouldn't take me too much time.
Yeah.
But I think if I slowly make different granny squares and then I put them together, I think it'd be really cool to have a sort of hoodie. And I love hoodies. Mm-hmm. Hoodies are my jam right after cardigans, if not before cardigans, because I love a good zipper.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that might be my first.
That would be pretty cool.
I just literally wouldn't it be? I came up with it right on the spot. You would think that I thought about this, but I really didn't. I just the first thing that came to my mind, and it was a granny square hoodie. So I think that will be my first project. I'm gonna give myself homework.
Ooh.
Should I call it homework? I just left school. I'm just gonna give myself a task.
That's trauma there. The drama's coming out. Homework.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about homework because I don't want to think I'm going to get a grade. I'm going to give myself a task to research, one, how to make a granny square. Because I think a granny square, it doesn't matter what type of, the tools do matter, but the sort of stitch will be bigger or smaller depending on your hook. So I could use the hooks that I have. So I will research how to make a granny square, and that's where I'm going to start.
And choose a simple one.
I'm not going to even look into the hoodie.
Choose a simple granny square, because Maddie made a granny square cardigan. Did you know that?
Oh, I think you mentioned it. Yeah.
And I was making one.
Mm-hmm.
I gave up. I still have the stuff to do it, and I'm still working on it. I'm wink, hint, hint, wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still working on it, I guess, but it's been more than 6 months, because the fact that you have to sit there and make the same thing over and over and over and over, and depending on the size of your yarn and how big the final granny square is going to be, you might have to make a good portion of them. So just make sure you choose something simple and you take your time.
Yeah, so I know that it's supposed to be a lot of repetition, but that's kind of where I want the different colors to come in. I'm going to look for a certain pattern that looks cute, where I think I'm going to try to pick maybe 3 to 4 colors and then try to incorporate them differently. So that's kind of where the distinction comes in, because the pattern's going to be the same, but if the colors are different, it could feel like something brand new. Yeah,
so I had my granny square sweater that I was working on. I'm gonna pick it back up because the idea is too cute, girl. I'll send you a picture after this, but essentially it's black, gray, royal blue, and blue, and gold. That's the last color.
That's a lot of colors.
And so it's those 4, and then I'm pretty sure it's been a while, but I'm pretty sure the design is stars and moons on the little granny squares, and so putting them all together.
Whoa, Chanel, what is this advanced
you
shit?
See, I started off too hard. This is what happens. And so it's one half is going to be all the granny squares, and then the other half is going to be solid colors, stripes or something like that. And it's going to look so good. But I gotta sit here and do it. I should work on it. I should. My other hobby is crocheting.
So hear me out.
Yes.
Hear me out. How about we set a goal for ourselves to work on our Granny Smith crochet projects?
So close. You're so close.
Did I say Granny Smith?
Said Granny Smith.
Oh, Granny Square projects. How about we do that?
I'm down.
And we check in on each other
That's the accountability. It's still a thing that we're doing on our own, but it's just accountability.
Yes, ma'am. I agree.
I feel like that could be fun. And I know you said start basic, but you said flowers and not flowers. You said stars and moons.
Let me text you
and
a
I want to do flowers.
Look at this.
Yeah, text me a picture.
See. My mind is powerful.
Mm-hmm. Text.
Whenever I make
Oh.
yes.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm. And I always do these little drawings each time I come up with something.
Yeah, I was gonna say people aren't gonna be able to see this, but Chanel actually just like drew up her
design.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to see it before I make it.
Mm-hmm. That's smart. That is smart because no. I was about to say I'm gonna go in blind. That's something that I'm gonna try not to do. Is not go in blind. That's the plan. So I'm going to do my research, figure out how to do it, and then buy the products that I need, and hopefully it comes out the way that I envisioned, because I just Googled Daisy Granny Square and this looks really, really cute. And I'm a sunflower person, so I might turn these daisies into sunflowers. Ooh, that would be really cute. Can you imagine a sunflower Granny Smith
Granny Square
hoodie? Mm-hmm. Oh, did I say Granny Smith
You must want some apples. I don't know what to tell you.
Maybe I should just make an apple. Maybe that's the universe telling me that I don't want flowers, I want apples. Yeah. To be determined. We'll see. Only time will tell what type of design that I will have.
Period.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I say we set that up for ourselves, and we check back in.
I want my sweater.
And I'm saying that like we're.
This is my problem. Once I like start making something, I just want the final result. Give it to me.
That's what I'm. Yeah, but you got to put in the work to get it done. Yeah. Yeah, we'll get there eventually.
Well, it's been lovely speaking with you, Cindy.
That was so cringy, but yeah, it was nice talking to you too, Chanel. After we hit end of record, I probably will not speak to you for the rest of my life. So
XOXO Gossip Girl.
Gossip Girl. Okay, well, goodbye, Chanel.
Bye. Is someone knocking on my door? Hello? Open the door. Open the door. I'm filming a podcast right now. Goodbye.
Hi.
You want to say hi to the podcast?
No, thank you.
Okay, bye.